Will, you just don't get it. Super awkward. Hillary, super messy, inviting your ex to the gallery. And yeah, Carlton, don't do it, bro. Listen, fam, this is the episode 5 recap of Bel-Air season 2. This episode is called Excellence is Everywhere, but this one was super messy. You already know. Check out my episode recaps. Let's break it down. Excellence is Everywhere is the name of this episode. It says Will struggles on his new basketball team, but is nominated for the Bel-Air Academy Founders Award. Again, family, they talk about excellence, but this one super messy. Let's get into it. Will is now working with Doc and his team. And absolutely, Doc is working him out, super working him out, making him stronger because, again, he believes that he's soft when he's playing with Bel-Air. So they are putting in work. They're lifting weights. I mean, Doc is pushing Will past the limits, right? They working on the ropes. Of course, Doc is like, yo, man, Bel-Air made you soft, so I'm going to have to push you, man. You got to push it past the limits, push it forward. You know, they working them out so much that Will throws up in the garbage can. Jackie's looking on like, what the heck is going on? The fellas come up to your boy Will talking trash like, yeah, you soft, you from Bel-Air. He's like, nah, I'm from Philly. What's good? He's like, yo, keep that same energy, but you are going to definitely be cut. So, you know, they talking a whole lot of trash. You know, they don't think he's good enough because he's from Bel-Air. And these guys seem to be like, you know, all up on Will, like, what's good? Because he's the brand new kid. You know how it is when you're brand new. So, of course, he's not really feeling that. He's trying to be overconfident, but definitely has his little bit of doubts. Jeffrey is back with his green leprechaun suit, and he's helping out Aunt Viv. And Aunt Viv is just happy that he's there. You know, she's really worried about the project and everything else like that, but he's definitely giving her some encouragement. She's like, Jeffrey, I'm truly glad that you're back. Is everything okay between you and Uncle Phil? He's like, yeah, we're working things out. We're working things through, right? Of course, we see a little something going on with Jeffrey. And Jeffrey is just trying to hold it down, but we're going to find out more. Here we go with Will, and Will is just like, man, you know, they don't know me. And she's like, listen, the fellas, you don't know the fellas. Like, dude had to take a bus here. You know, Doc found the other guy. He was sleeping in his car. She's like, yo, just show and prove. Just show and prove that you're worthy to be here and work harder and just show them that you definitely are the man to make things happen. You know what I'm saying? So she's always been encouraging since day one, since they met. She's always been telling them to push forward, right? Here comes Doc. He's like, yo, don't worry about it, man. First days are rough. And he gives him one of the greatest books of all time, one of my favorite books, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Love that book. And in this book, it talks about, you know, putting in 10,000 hours in your craft in order to become a master. So he's like, yeah, we're going to be doing drills in the pool. And he's like, dang, you know, I can't catch a break because, you know, Will can't swim. And she's like, yeah, this is going to be interesting. But, of course, Will is going to have to come up with a plan. Here we go with Uncle Phil, and he's talking to little Ashley. It's like, yeah, you got a letter from Miss Hughes, and she actually got a job in another place back home, and it was better for her, you know. And, of course, Ashley's a little disappointed. So she, you know, opens the letter, opens the card, and she's thanking Ashley for getting her noticed, and she definitely appreciates her, and she lets her know excellence is everywhere. So Will is back in school after being suspended. Carlton's like, you're late, and he's like, yo, man, first day of school, just chill, right? So, of course, Carlton's there, got his back. He's happy to see him back in school. So now they're about to announce who are the nominees for the Founders Award, right? So, of course, Carlton, he's hoping and praying that his name is on the list of nominees. Will, of course, is encouraging him because that's his thing. You know, he wanted to be honored. So he does hear his name, hears everybody else. But then they say also, last but not least, Will Smith. So Will was nominated also. We see Jasmine, yeah, the president of the BSU. She's smirking a little bit. Yeah, she's up to something. What is it? Of course, Will is like, what? I was nominated? Everybody's surprised. They're both sitting there like, doggone it, what's going on? Now they're competing with each other. People are congratulating Will, and they're saying, yeah, man, great job, great job. Of course, Carlton's like, yo, do you even know what this Founder Award is? And Jasmine's like, yeah, we actually nominated him. The BSU nominated him, right? So he sees Lisa and Will runs off with Lisa. And Carlton's like, listen, I can't help but think that this is personal. She's like, nah, it's not personal at all. Will exhibits some great things. We nominated him. And it's great to have two black students nominated for the Founders Award. So Will is talking to Lisa. He's letting her know the situation that, yeah, they're about to do drills next week and swimming. And of course, he can't swim. And he's asking Lisa, because she's the swimming expert, to give him some lessons so he can learn how to swim finally. And he's like, yo, you going to do it or what, right? He's like, yeah, okay, I'll come through. He's like, oh, I'm your girl when you need me, huh? He's like, nah, it's not like that. Of course, she's still in love with Will. We're going to see what happens now. Here we go with the people in the influencer house. They're talking junk and talking trash because they missed another event. And Hillary's like, listen, don't worry. We're going to put something together. I'm going to make it happen. Once we get these influencers, I'm going to close the deal. Uncle Phil has concerns because the firm is down 30% as far as profits. That's because they lost the deal. And because Uncle Phil wasn't at the firm at the time, he wasn't the one to lock in the deal. So now that he's back at the firm, Jeffrey's just saying, hey, you know what? Why don't you try to meet up with him and make sure that he can possibly get back that deal and get back that, contract. So, of course, he's like, listen, I'm happy to see you back, Jeffrey. We're going to see what happens with that. Now, corny Connor is trying to congratulate Carlton. And Carlton is not feeling Connor at all. He's trying to stay away from him. Connor's a bad influence. So he's like, listen, man, I know you're not in a good place and all of that. We're both not going to win or whatever. So he's like, listen, here's a peace offering. And he drops some product in a plastic package. Of course, your boy Carlton is like, no, right? He hides it. He goes to the bathroom. Again, he's having an anxiety attack because this guy's giving him a product that he shouldn't be taking. He already weaned himself off of it. He sees a toilet and then he walks out and the toilet flushes. I hope he did the right thing. So Uncle Phil's trying to get up with Robert Garrison to get this deal going. And he sees a familiar face. Who is it? This is Erica, right? And he's like, oh, Erica, hey, good to see you. It's been a long time. Yeah, she seems to be an attorney as well. He's like, yo, I got a few minutes before my meeting. Let's sit down and talk. We find out that this is his ex-girlfriend, and she is very familiar with Uncle Phil. He's trying to find out what's going on. Of course, he's still married, and he tells her that, but she has 2 failed marriages, and yeah, now she's just an attorney, and she says she married the wrong guy. Messy. Here we go with Aunt Viv, and she's working with the old Aunt Viv, and they're trying to put together this project. She has her ideas and her vision, but of course, the old Aunt Viv is like, hey, listen, we should do it like this, do it like that. Of course, she's changing her whole vision. Aunt Viv's not feeling that. So Erica is talking about, everything that's been going on as far as her love life, as far as what happened. She married the wrong dude. And she's just like, yeah, if you was at the firm, I probably most likely wouldn't have taken, this account away from that firm. But now that you're back, it is what it is. I'm not giving it up. So he's trying to get that contract back. And she's like, hey, there's one way for you to do it. I have an idea. Man, super messy. I'm telling you right now, like I said, this one is super messy and she is trouble. So here we go with Lisa teaching Will how to swim. And she has him on his back, just trying to teach him how to float. And she's like, just relax. She's like, yo, the only thing that's making me relax is your voice. So she's like focusing on my voice, right? And she, again, is still in love with Will. So she's trying to, keep it cool, but still just she's helping him out. She's helping him learn how to float. And yeah, he, is floating and he doesn't even realize it. And she's happy. He's happy. And of course, she's always happy to help him out. But again, she is still in love with your boy, Will. There's no question about it. Here we go with Hillary, and she's trying to, figure out a way to get more influencers so she can get that Simply deal closed out. And she comes to the mom. Of course, Aunt Viv has this big event coming up, and she's like, listen, I need a big event so we can, take pictures, so we can take selfies. And she's like, all right, I'll let you come to my event and use my event. And then she tells Aunt Viv that she needs to go ahead and be a boss and make things happen as far as her vision. So here we go with Will. She's like, all right, it's time to make it happen. You're supposed to swim out to me. He wants to take a break. And she's like, nah, ain't no breaks in here. So she splashes him. And of course, Will is like, what? So she plays him, right? and gets him to actually swim out to her to splash her back. And she's like, look, Will, look what you just did. He swam from the other side to her. And she's like, wow, I did that. Wow, I did that. So, they hugging and all this and that. Look at her looking in his eyes. Listen, Lisa is totally in love with Will, but Will is just on some like, yeah, we cool, we cool, we cool. And I don't think Lisa really realizes that he has actually moved on. So he splashes her, whatever. She goes inside, and Aunt Viv says, you need an award for even getting Will in the water. So because Lisa's so comfortable, she says, yeah, did you know that Will and Carlton were nominated for the Founders Award? She's like, I didn't even know that. She's like, oh, it was supposed to be a surprise. And she said, I guess this is a good thing because of what happened to Carlton at the rally. And she's like, what happened? Tell me right now, okay? Messy, right? So here comes your boy Will trying to talk to Carlton, see if he's cool. He's like, yeah, man, I'm just making sure you're cool, man. I saw you and kind of chatting it up. You guys are cool. He's like, yeah, man, I ain't feeling that cat. I'm not feeling that cat at all. So Will is standing there. He's like, yo, can I get back to my workout? And Will's like, yo, all right, I was just checking on you, man, but we already know what's going to go down. So here we go. Uncle Phil comes back. Aunt Viv was like, yo, we need to talk. We need to talk because I found out that, yeah, Carlton had an anxiety attack. So they game plan. And, yeah, she goes in to talk to Carlton while Uncle Phil goes to talk to Will. She goes in and says, oh, I heard about your nomination. Congratulations. He's like, yeah, but I feel like there's a but coming. She's like, what happened at that rally? Let me know. I found out what happened as far as your anxiety attack. Uncle Phil says, listen, I get it, man. I kind of put a lot of pressure on you and you trying to, keep your loyalty to Carlton. I get it. That's why you didn't tell us. And, of course, Will apologizes. But it goes back and forth. And, Carlton's just like, listen, I'm just trying to, get through this. We already started. The doctor said it's going to take some time, and I don't want to get back on the meds. And they're going back and forth from Uncle Phil to Aunt Viv. And, Uncle Phil's like, listen, you're probably one of the greatest influencers over Carlton. You're like a figure, you're like a role model to him, So she's just like, hey, are you sure you're okay? And Carlton is like, listen, don't worry. Even Will's like, listen, don't worry. I still got his back. I want what's best for Carlton. And he says that he's up for the honor award, but that's Carlton's thing. So Will is like, I want to back out of that. So he's like, I think that's cool. So Carlton's just on some like, listen, everything's going to be fine. Just trust me. Can you trust me? And Aunt Viv is like, all right, I'll trust you. Congratulations on the, Founders Award. And, we're going to be keeping our eye on you, but definitely let us know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So, again, we got major concerns for Carlton. Because, again, Carlton has these anxiety attacks, and Carlton definitely has something up his sleeve. We're going to find out. So here we are. We are finally at Aunt Viv's gallery event that she's curated, and it's exciting. Of course, Lisa's like, look what you did. You did it. You made it happen. Everything's going well. Everybody's drinking the champagne. Here comes the older Aunt Viv, and she's like, oh, this is different from what we talked about, and she's about to get into it. But here comes Jeffrey like, hey, how you doing? And, of course, like, yeah, it's me, Jeffrey. And she's like, you remember Jeffrey? And, of course, she likes Jeffrey. And Jeffrey's like, oh, it's so good to see you. Aunt Viv did an amazing job, didn't she? He's like, listen, how would you like to come with me? And I can show you, exactly which one that I like the most. And she's like, of course, of course. She's open off of your boy, Jeffrey. Aunt Viv is like, I love you. Thank you for giving her away from me and being a buffer. So Doc actually comes through. But he comes through because he's dropping off his niece because his niece is supposed to be dancing at this event. So Aunt Viv was like, hey, thanks for coming through and everything. And he's definitely showing support. And she's definitely thanking him for allowing Will to work with him. So now the girls are complaining like, yeah, this is not really the type of event we were talking about. Hillary's like, listen, hold tight. I got a big surprise. Let's take some more selfies. Once the surprise comes, don't worry about it. So here we go with Lisa, and she brings in all the dancers, and she actually meets Jackie for the first time. So they introduce themselves. She's like, I'm nervous. Lisa's like, don't even worry about it. They're going to love you. And she's very encouraging. And, they kind of kick it off like, yeah, I like your boots, girl, or whatever. So they seem to be cool. Doc runs into Will, and Will is like, hey, I want to catch up with you, man. He's like, yo, you still hurting? He's like, yo, don't worry about the guys, man. Just keep pushing forward. And he says he's nominated for this Founders Award. He says, yo, the academic side is big too, man, for these recruiters. Make sure you get that done. You're a leader. So listen, they look at all of that stuff too, not just how good you are at playing ball. So as Will was supposed to drop out of this race and this nomination for the Founders Award, now Doc got him thinking about still running for that Founders Award, even though he knows that's Carlton's thing. So now we're looking at this book and we find out from Aunt Viv, as Ashley's looking on, that this is the first Black female poet. And she started writing at Ashley's age. And she's like, oh, I didn't even know that. And Aunt Viv is just like, listen, we got to educate ourselves on our history. That's what's going to keep us going. And Ashley says excellence is everywhere, inspired by Mrs. Hughes. And also Aunt Viv named the whole show Excellence is Everywhere. So here we go with Uncle Phil and Jeffrey, and they're talking about what's happening and a meeting that he had. And yeah, you know, he met up with his ex, and of course, Jeffrey knows him. And she's like, yeah, she offered him an opportunity to work with the firm. He's like, are you going to do it? He's like, yeah, you know, I'm thinking about it, but it's just meetings right now. He said, did you tell Aunt Viv? He's like, well, you know, when the right time is right, I'm going to tell her. And he looks over, sees her, says, cheers to you, and he walks away. So now here we go with Carlton and Jazz, and they're like looking at people watching and trying to figure out who they are. Jazz sees this guy in a leather jacket. He's like, yeah, this Shaft looking mother right here. You know, he probably came from somewhere out of nowhere, whatever. And he's trying to figure out who he is. So they're joking and laughing. Come to find out, this guy is Lamar Alton, and he's supposed to be a wide receiver, football wide receiver. So, of course, Jazz recognizes him because he's into sports. He's like, oh, shoot. And she says, Lamar, you know, you made it and all this and that. Hillary walks up to him. He's like, hey, Hillary, how you doing? And just as they're about to speak, your boy Jazz rolls up. He's like, yo, I know this is not Lamar, right? You know, wide receiver, talks about his stats. He's like, didn't you get traded from the Eagles and now you're with the Rams in L.A., right? He's like bigging him up, totally talking about his stats. He's like, yeah, I'm back in L.A. and I'm happy to be back in L.A. And he's looking at Hillary. Why is he looking at Hillary like that? She's looking back at him like, like what's going on? So he's like, yo, so, you know, how do you know the Banks? And, you know, Carlton comes over and he's kind of like, this is about to be a real big mess. And he's like, yeah, I'm actually the ex of Hillary. He's like, oh, the ex of what? Like, ex what? And Hillary's like, yeah, you know, Lamar's my ex-boyfriend. Look at your boy Jazz, mouth wide open. And, you know, he's looking like, yeah, I'm your ex. And Carlton's like, oh, damn, this is super messy. He's like, wow, this is crazy, right? He walks away. And yeah, super messy. Hillary's like, yeah, this is my boyfriend. Super messy, Hillary. Terrible. So here we go with Aunt Viv, and she's talking about how, you know, we're going to uplift people, and she's going to do her job as far as making sure new artists, including herself, are being displayed. Lamar is looking over at Jazz's area, you know, like, yeah, this cat is going out with my ex. And again, you know, Aunt Viv is like, we're going to introduce these dancers. So they're bigging up Aunt Viv. Here comes the dancers. They do the tap dancing and everything. Looks real dope. Of course, they're dancing to Icon, right, which is Will Smith's son, right, his song. And look at your boy Jazz looking over at Lamar standing next to Hillary like this dude, you know what I mean? You already know he got feelings about the whole deal and that whole setup. Here comes Jackie. They saved the best for last. Jackie does her thing. She's dancing and all of that. Will is feeling it, obviously. So while the dancers are dancing, Jeffrey feels free to just walk out, right? Of course, Uncle Phil notices him leave. We're going to find out. So yeah, Will is happy about it, but also Lisa is noticing that Will is happy about this whole performance. Jackie and the dancers do their thing. It is now over. The influencer girls are super happy to see Lamar. They're taking selfies with him and the whole nine. So he's like, yo, why did y'all break up? Well, he got traded. So he's like, oh, so if y'all, you know, if he didn't get traded, y'all wouldn't have broke up, huh? She's like, nah, I don't care, you know, where he is. I'm all about where I am right here with you, right? So, of course, Jazz is feeling some type of way because she invited him and didn't even give him the heads up. The influencer girls are so happy. They're like, yo, I didn't know this was going to be the surprise. And she's like, listen, y'all go do that. And Jazz is like, nah, go do your thing. Go do your thing. She's like, you sure? So she gives him a kiss. And again, I feel bad for Jazz at the same time. Like, that was kind of wrong for Hillary to kind of like invite him and not even tell Jazz that that was her ex. You know, real shady, real messy, for real. And I can understand why Jazz may feel the way he feels. You guys drop your comments below. Let me know, is he right in feeling the way he does? So Lisa, she congratulates Jackie. She's like, yeah, you did a great job. Will comes over, like, hey, you know, I see you, girl, I see you, and kisses Jackie right in front of Lisa. Damn, Will, you just don't get it. Of course, Lisa's feeling some type of way. He's like, oh, you know, Jackie, this is Lisa. And Lisa's like, listen, we already met. We already met. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all good. Great performance, Jackie. And she walks away. Of course, Jackie feels that. And she's like, yo, what's going on between you and her? It's like, oh, we just friends. And she's like, nah, for real. He's like, yeah, we used to have a thing going on. We still cool now. And she's like, you know what? You may be cool, but Lisa, I don't think she's cool with all of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she's just cool. So everything is over. Lisa is taking care of things, wrapping things up. And he comes and he's like, hey, you know, Aunt Viv said you was in here. Do you need any help? She's like, nah, I don't need any help. And he's like, yo, so, you know, Jackie and everything. And she's like, listen, Will, I get it. You don't have to explain anything. It's on me. I'm the one that felt like, you know, there was still a thing between us and possibly we can get back together. But it's obvious it's on me. It's not even on you. He's like, yo, I thought you, you know, clearly moved on because you was talking to Drew. And she's like, yeah, I ain't even talking to Drew. Whatever the case is, you know, I still have feelings for you, whatever the case is. But, you know, we going to have to like end this. And he's like, yo, what do you mean? And basically, she's just like, yo, we cannot be friends anymore. She can't do it. You know what I'm saying? She can't just be cool with him when she's in love with him. And of course, Will is going to have to deal with it. He just doesn't get it. I keep forgetting he's a kid. Right? So Aunt Viv, Uncle Phil, they're celebrating. He's congratulating her. And, you know, he's like, I didn't want to bring this up and everything, but, you know, there's something we need to talk about as far as Jeffrey. So, yeah, Hillary's celebrating, but I think she lost her man, Jazz. We'll see what happens with that. Come to find out, Uncle Phil put a camera, surveillance camera, in his office, and we see that your boy Jeffrey is looking through stuff. What is he looking for? He's trying to find his son, and of course, they're like, that's a no-no because there's rules, regulations to keep them from each other. So, of course, Will is thinking about things. Carlton's thinking about things. Will is looking up that Founders Award. And while he was supposed to back out, I think he's going to go for that award and still stay in it. Your boy Carlton kept that freaking product package, man. Dang, Carlton. And he puts it underneath his shirt to hide it. Dang, Carlton. I hope he doesn't go back on his old ways. You guys let me know. Drop your comments below. What is Carlton going to do, man? I hope he doesn't fall back. Hillary got to clean that stuff up. Your boy Will, man, he got to straighten things out with Lisa. What is going to happen next? We're going to see in the next episode. Definitely let me know. Drop your comments below. I appreciate you all for watching. If you just found me, definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep this going. Thank you for your love and support. And until next time, salute.